I'm just gonna change this whole to paragraphs.
Okay. We can
I want to call this meeting to order. Please stand while we say the Pledge of Allegiance.
again.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to bypass Chair's remarks because I have nothing to say, if you can believe that. So, we will move on to open public comments. Anybody have anything tonight for an open comment? Please come up to the microphone so they can hear you.
Okay, I won't read the whole thing. Vernon Selectboard, I'm writing to inform you that I will be resigning from my town elected lister position as of May 1st, 2015. In submitting my resignation today, my hope is to allow enough notice to add my soon-to-be vacant elected lister's position to the warning for the upcoming special election to fill, that we're going to have to fill the 2 vacant select board positions. Respectfully, Phyllis Newton.
I'm sorry to see you go, Phyllis. Thank you for your time for the town and all you've done. That being said, I did speak to Susan this morning, and the warning has not been written. She had something else to do today, so she didn't get to writing it up for to start the election. But I'm going to get with her again tomorrow and see what comes along. So we have no dates, we have no information as of yet. And it is in time, I would say, put this on. I'm sad to do that, but. Anybody else? We're gonna move on then. Additions to the agenda. I have one. As EMD for the town, I have to do quarterly reports and now yearly reports, apparently. And the LEOC is now up for that, and it's I'm gonna let Mike tell you what it is, but all it says, it's information of who I contact, emergency contacts, EMSs, fire department, police department, myself, the people that work with me at the EOC, that kind of thing. And this goes into the state data bank, so I guess they can notify us. If it's the board's pleasure, I would like to have this put on the agenda to have, I would like to have Mike sign it because I am the EMD and the chairman, and the chairman has to sign it, but if the board makes a motion to have the vice chair sign it, then that would be fine. Also, because I am a notary public, I don't know if anybody else in the room is, but I am a notary public and I can notarize his signature. And if you would give me that permission as well. So I think the first motion would be just to put it on the agenda, and we'll do it at the proper time.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded to add this to the agenda, which would be probably under new business. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. The ayes have it. And I think that's all I had for additions.
I would like to just have a quick discussion regarding the returnable deposit bin down at the town garage.
Now, that would be under old business, so that would have to be a motion to be added to old business.
I'll make a motion,
So-
we add the discussion of the returnables to old business.
Munson, you'll second it?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to add to old business, a discussion on the returnable bins at the highway. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, ayes have it. Anything else? Okay. Well, then we're gonna go to guests. Rick Castine, I see him there he is.
Do we need to approve it first?
Oh, yeah, let's approve the, agenda first. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, now we can move on. Come on up, Rick.
Yeah, let Jerry
I guess I'm gonna speak.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
come on up and
Yep.
let me give him a brief synopsis of what's going on, because the board does not know. Nor does
Okay.
the-
That would help.
Mr. Castine called me and is very interested in having Hemlock Road made, turned from a private road to a town-maintained road. The owner of that road is Mr. Morrison
And my wife.
and
Sandy.
Mrs. Morrison. Sandy.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, I'd slap him for that. No, don't tell
No,
anybody.
no, for her.
Oh, okay.
I'd like
anyway.
to be removed from this.
Anyway, so, and I think that you've talked to David Walker as well, and he's given him some things, and so they're here to explain some things, because we have to get it off the board, off the ground, but they have to come in and see what your pleasure is. So take it from there.
Yeah, so I just have a brief statement here that I'd like to read, and then I'll just hand that over, you can have it for your minutes, all right?
Okay.
So, Sandy and I, we own a piece of property with a road, Hemlock Road, off of Huckle Hill Road. I don't know if, how many
You
of
all
you
know
are
where
familiar with
Hemlock-
it,
Sort of.
Picture it.
but right before you get into Mass, on the left, there's a
Yes.
road
It's a new
there.
development.
Yeah.
All right? It's approximately 2,300 feet long, under a half a mile, and it serves 12 home sites that has been built to town specifications for over 30 years, with the exception of a blacktop surface. Everything has been working fine, and I have been taking care of the road, but I'm getting older and won't always be able to take care of it, and I'd like to get the road taken over by the town. I've met with David Walker, and he would like to see the culverts upgraded before the town would assume ownership of the road. I'm planning to get that taken care of this summer. Hopefully next year we'll get the road blacktop. We are here tonight to get assurance that the town will in fact take over the road if or when this work is finished. Signed, Jerry and Sandy Morris.
We can't assure that, because that really is, I believe it's up to the town. We have to bring it to the town. But I think the select board does make a final decision, but there's so much to investigate, so we'd have to do a lot of research on, I know that you have to do, the
Town meeting,
culverts.
I've never
No,
been to a town meeting.
I know,
where we voted on it.
I misspoke. I think that we have to have a public hearing is what I meant. But I'm not sure. I don't know how the workings go, to be honest.
David?
I don't believe you need a public hearing, I think it's all done just through the board.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Okay. And what do they have to do to, can you come up, please? What do they have to do to bring it up to, your standards or whatever it is?
He needs to do the culverts over, and then it would have to be paved before a town could be.
It's dirt up there? I thought it was
Yeah,
paved.
I mean, it's built to town, beyond town specs as they are today, because back in the old day, you wanted 26 feet of blacktop.
Mhm.
Now it's been reduced because you figured out that down the road, when you have to resurface and stuff,
Mhm.
that extra 6 feet or whatever it is,
No.
you know, is costing the town money that it really doesn't need to be spending. Because Huckle Hill Road itself is only like 21 feet wide, or
Got 22.
22.
So we
And
don't
I
need a
always said
public
when that
meeting.
was finished, you know, if there was a small airplane that needed to land somewhere, that was a good spot. Funny joke.
Yeah.
And there is a 50-foot right-of-way already in there.
Isn't
Oh,
there
yeah.
also a cul-de-sac at the end of that, sort of, or a circle? So
Yep.
there's easy access to fire trucks and things like that. So the benefit, A, would be to the people who live on the road. Additionally, would it add a little bit of more mileage to what we get paid for from the state?
Yes.
What are the downsides?
Downsides, is depending how far we're going to be cutting budgets and stuff. Have to sit down and figure out what it would cost.
But your
See if we
cost
can
is
do it.
basically just the maintenance, plowing, stuff like
Right.
that.
I have a question. Is Hemlock Road is the main that comes off of Huckle Hill? Is there
Yes.
a side or two
There-
roads
yeah,
off of it?
Aspen Lane, there's a little dog leg, well, here, this is the other thing too.
Okay.
So is that's doing that
Both of them.
offshoot? Oh, that's
Yeah, I
both.
just referred to it as Hemlock Road, but
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So do we want to,
I was gonna try and pull up the statute.
Yeah, yes,
It's
please.
taken me a while.
I think we have that in our books too. Probably should have done a little bit of homework here. I don't think we could we want to do a decision tonight, do you think? Or,
Well, I think their concern is,
Well,
you
they
know,
want-
why do you wanna put all of that money into it if we're not gonna turn around?
Well,
and
absolutely,
accept
that's
it?
exactly
gonna
what
come down to that.
Rick said, yeah.
that, yeah, everybody can understand that.
Yeah.
And my understanding, David, is that your cost is minimal, I mean fractional.
Yep, for the
To-
actual maintenance until it comes around to paving again.
Right. And,
And the way around that is keep it dirt if you want. A lot of towns are doing that.
right,
But that's,
Does
it get-
David,
We-
you
yeah,
would,
just
you would
I got
have the
one
cost of
before you.
paving.
You've already set the precedence with other developments, so to have them
Mhm.
paved.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, I don't have a problem with it. Sue?
Yeah, my understanding is on the private roads, the tax rate is different. So if that becomes a town road, those houses all have to be reappraised because they would now be getting town services they didn't have before. And I guess that's a question for the lister, so it's not quite that simple. You can't just all of a sudden become a town road, because if you could, we would on our road too, because we live up on Laurel Ledges, up by Cushing Lot Road, and we're a private road, and our tax rate's different, but we have to manage the road. So if we wanted to get that to be a town road, our tax rate would change. That was my understanding.
the way it's been set up in this town is, they adopted town specs for roads. You have to have 18-inch culverts, you have to have 18 inches of bank run for a base, you have to have 6 inches of, 1 inch crushed for a topping, and 2 inches of asphalt with a 1 inch layer over that, 3 inches of asphalt. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Once you meet those specifications, the town then is responsible for taking it over.
If you wanna take it over.
Yeah, right. That's why
Yeah,
we're
if
here
you wanna
tonight.
take it over.
So what kind of time frame are you looking at to make these changes?
Culverts this summer, preferably when it gets dry and you're not dealing with water going through, and then change them out.
And Carol, isn't there a reappraisal in the works for the not-too-distant future anyway?
There will be, yes. We don't
Right
have a date.
along that time frame, though, so that could coincide?
Well, they would do one anyway, correct? If we changed those roads, would you do one immediately, or
We would probably wait till reappraisal,
or you would?
because I think we're only looking at, well, it won't be next year, because we have to bring it to town meeting. The earliest would be 2017. And if we do it ourselves, it would be a 2-year period like we did last time. I mean, that's just how I'd look at it right now. So it would be close.
Phyllis has a.
Yeah, Phyllis, go ahead.
It's just a road factor that we put on the land.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Phyllis.
We can't hear you either.
Hello.
It's just a road factor that we put on the land portion, that it's a private road versus town road. So the 12 houses, you just have to remove that land factor off of it, and it would just, you know, increase the property a little bit on the house. I mean, on the land, not on the house.
David, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it sounds as though there's no real downside on the town for doing this. There is precedent here. Breeze Acres, back when it was Shader Development or whatever, went the same route, but because it wasn't paved, the town wouldn't take it over. And then, of course, we had that whole right-of-way issue at the beginning. That's why we continued to be this oddball out. Central Park, as soon as they were paved, the town took it over. What I really want to say was, I think there's either a policy or an ordinance in the town that speaks to exactly how this process goes.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I can't, I'm trying to find it, I'm
Yep.
lost, I guess.
It's a town policy,
Yeah.
not that.
Yeah, I know, but this would tell me because I have things written off to the side of it.
Oh.
So, did you
We're-
find anything?
Well, no, I don't, not quickly.
I think, you know, pending review of the town policy, I would be in favor of this. If you could, you know, meet David's requirements and the state requirements, as well as, you know, if the fire department makes, you know, they give you the blessing that the trucks can get down there and turn around and do what they have to do, which I'm sure they can now anyway, then I wouldn't see why we wouldn't go ahead with that.
I see no problems with it.
So far, I have a consensus,
Sounds good.
yeah, and let us.
He's part-time and there's 2 others coming
There's
on
two
board.
coming, right,
But at the moment,
but at the moment. Let's
You
try
have
to
a
get this done in a
consensus.
month. But you do have the
I'm hoping
consensus,
he's
and let us.
full-time right now.
He is,
Or-
we're not gonna let him go right yet. Yeah, I mean, we gotta do some researching and make sure we do everything right to the letter of the law, and I have no problem with it either,
Yeah,
I'm right with.
well, can we review the town protocol or procedure and then, you know, just finish this discussion at the next meeting? Would that be possible? Or if you're not comfortable with that, wait until we have a newly elected board and make that one of our first orders of business? Would that set
That
you back?
makes sense. Yeah.
And give you a level of comfort too, that it's the same people.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be comfortable before I.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Well, yes, very much. Let's see, so. Our next meeting is May 5th. We won't have a couple of new people, probably not even by the 19th of May, would we? I don't think so. Because they have to have, I think it's 30 to 40 days, 45 days. And, yeah, so we're looking into June.
But you wouldn't probably wanna
Or I'll
start
go with
work.
you guys, I don't need to.
Right, I mean-
You know?
I mean, we
Well,
can make the
then, yeah.
decision, and we don't have to wait.
If you're comfortable with that, then we'll just review the town protocols and we can put
Yes.
you on the next agenda.
Bring it up as
Why don't
old
we do that?
business,
Simple.
bring it up as old business next.
Right,
next
because
time.
we're gonna appoint somebody tonight, to fill the
The
fifth
fifth
seat.
spot.
So, yeah, why don't we put you on the next agenda, which would be May 4th or 5th, I don't know, what's the Monday up there? 4th? Why don't we do that,
Sounds good.
okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Greg.
Go far, David.
Did you get that for the future agenda, May 4th? Okay, David.
I would recommend going with Dead River Company for the fuel bid of the year.
Oh, that's a new one. How many years have we had Sandry?
Quite a few.
Well, that's good.
Can you talk about the reason for the change?
The lower price for diesel in the winter, well, everything's lower. Might as well give them a
Yeah, no, I
try.
see that there, it's
Yep, might as
just
well give them a
easier to-
try, save what we can.
And just also, you are comfortable with the, whatever it is, covering the Vita route monitoring systems and all those that they're,
Yep.
because obviously Sandry knows your system.
Dead
But
River has them,
a system
so-
is a system.
Yep.
So what would happen if they prove not to be reliable right smack dab in the middle of the winter? Then do you,
Well, it'd be no different if we had problems with standards, we just have to live with it.
yeah, sure. What's the board's pleasure?
I make a motion that we accept David's recommendation and go with Dead River for our heating oil, our winter blend, our summer diesel, and our unleaded gas.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to go with Dead River Company, David's recommendation. Number 2, heating oil, winter blend. Number 3, diesel, summer diesel, unleaded, plus gas. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passed. Okay. And wow, how do you read that? Oh my goodness. This is the culverts?
Yep, the box culvert.
The box culvert, okay.
Yep, and I'm gonna recommend
Wow.
Zeluzny Excavating for $286,800. Being low bidder.
Why is there such a huge discrepancy?
Yes.
Markup.
Wow, I guess
Good
maybe.
thing we didn't go unit cost. 421.
I don't know as though you have that in your packets. Is this new, David? This is.
Yep,
was
yep,
this-
because I got
We
everything today.
have the same
Yeah.
thing here.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, okay, you do have it in
Essentially.
there. It's this one. In case you're all looking, it's this one.
This is just from the engineering.
Wow.
I forget
And
how,
they had the bid bond, they had the amendment, they had everything, so.
how much was allocated for this in town meeting?
At town meeting, because it could go up to 480, I asked for another 100,000.
Yeah.
So we're covered,
Well, well covered.
not knowing.
Right, yeah.
Any questions, Emily? Mike?
No.
What's the board's pleasure?
Well, actually, just one quick question, because I
Okay.
just don't understand.
Yep.
What does addendum mean? I understand.
One thing, they were wondering if they could use Washburn Way, use a smaller trailer and bring in stuff that way, because we're gonna open that up,
Mhm.
and they're allowed to go ahead in there.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
that's,
so everybody had the addendum, so they were bidding on everything the same.
got it.
I'm looking for a motion.
Make a motion that we award the bid to Zeluzny Excavating for the Central Park culvert job.
For the $286,800?
Yes, ma'am.
Lump sum.
Okay, a second, please.
Second.
Okay. It has been, any more discussion?
Sorry, just one little question.
Oops, I'm
Is there a time limit or time frame?
It's gotta be done before October 1st.
And if not, then there's,
That's that's the state.
That's the
It's
state.
gotta be,
Okay.
What kind of impact is that gonna have on Central Park residents?
they're gonna use Washburn Lane, it's gonna be shut down.
Okay,
They're
so,
aware, so that it's coming, yep. That's how we're saving some, 'cause they can use that.
Dale, you had a question?
Yeah, you're accepting a price of 286.8 for that. The bond, are you gonna ask for a bond on this? Because the
Bid bond is
Bid bond.
included.
Is
Well,
included.
there are, because usually a bid bond is usually over and above the cost of the, you know, the price of the contract.
No, we opened them Thursday and engineer went over everything Friday. Just to make sure everything was in there, and it is in there in this contract.
Okay, motion's on the table to accept Saluzny Excavating for $286,800. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Passed. Okay. That it? Oh,
Signatures,
that's, get the other one, okay.
state aid. So we can get 58,506.60.
So you, what,
I need the signatures right there on the back.
oh, right here, okay. I'll get you right in a minute, okay, Mario?
I think I understand it.
Yeah. Okay, Mario?
We did this-
These bid prices guaranteed.
Yep, lump sum is guaranteed
For how long?
until October 15th is gotta be, yep.
So in other words, the bid that they're
I need a motion for, to have the select board sign that.
Oh,
Oh. So moved.
Second, anybody?
second.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to sign this. So, select board, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Leave it to be amateurs.
Don't tell anybody.
When do these funds come in? Except for next?
Quarterly, it comes in quarterly.
It's today, 20th.
All day.
Okay. That's it.
Thank you, David.
Thank you,
Do we
David.
need to take a copy of
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna put a copy.
He's gonna, he'll,
Alright.
yeah, town
Thank you.
clerk and for our secretary.
Yep.
that? Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you for coming, thank you for all you do
Yep.
for the town, thank you so much. Now, the next one is the appointment of the temporary select board member, right?
Financial
Treasurer
plan.
and warrants.
Oh, yeah.
Bills and warrants.
I'm jumping down, I guess I wanna get this meeting done with.
Game of Thrones is on.
Huh?
Game of Thrones is on.
Oh, is that what it is? It has to be.
So, Do we wanna discuss this, or do we wanna just?
We do wanna discuss that, because,
Which is called annual financial?
That's what we just did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what we just
That's what we did.
these have been signed too.
Oh, okay.
All right, you had pulled one out, so go ahead.
Yes. You just fill in the public of what it is and why we're discussing it, or what? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely, yes,
Okay.
it's public knowledge.
Okay, so, in with our invoices over 500, we had a bill from a legal firm that was addressed to the principal of the school. And it's for, legal advice concerning the warning of the election of the,
Validation, special meeting.
And the town representative to the school district.
yeah, for
Yes.
Mike Collier's, it's legal advice concerning all of that.
The omission of his name,
Yeah, and there's a note on the invoice that said the school board denied payment, see enclosure, town clerk error. There is no enclosure, actually. It says see enclosure, but it's just.
You know what it probably was, they probably, maybe attached the original warning,
Yeah.
a copy of the original warning that didn't have his name on it. And that's, that's not just the town clerk's error, that's all of our error, it was omitted. It was one of the reasons why we had to have, the validation meeting. Now, they've rejected it. I believe the reason why we've got it in our hands, and this, correct me if I'm wrong, I think because, they didn't cause the error. It was caused on this side, so they, want us to pay for it. But it's up to the board whether we do or not. Then who pays for it? I don't know. I would think it would go back to the school.
Chris?
Yes, just a minute, Phyllis, okay, let us kind of get this out and then, and I certainly will come right back to you, Phyllis, okay? But you had said,
My concern was that we all knew of the perceived errors that were occurring, and if better communications had occurred between the school board and the select board, they never would have had to pursue that avenue because we were already pursuing it. So that bill would have been, it wouldn't have been.
okay, Phyllis, you can, please.
Mike Collier was the one that told the town clerk that he didn't have to run this year, that his term wasn't up until next year.
Yeah, I know, I said it was not the town clerk's omission, it was
So
not.
that was not the town clerk's.
No.
And then when it got pointed out at the February meeting up at the BUHS that yes, he does, the ballots were already made, so he had to be put in as a
The write-in, yeah.
But I don't think the town should be responsible for the ratifying that meeting, because tonight you ratified the town meeting.
Yeah,
And I
town and town school district meeting, we did the whole thing.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
don't think they had to actually do the meeting they did last week.
No, like he said, it should have been, it was a miscommunication between us. Had they spoke to us, then they would have realized that we are taking care of it on our end.
Right.
Yeah, no, I said it was not the town clerk's fault.
So who actually contracted with the attorney that this bill was?
The school board.
Well, we don't know
We
that.
don't know that.
Well, I think we do.
It's made out to the principal.
They did.
Oh.
Okay.
How much is it?
$1,160.
Two phone calls.
Yeah, for 2 phone calls.
Wow,
Went into the wrong business.
wow.
Do you think, maybe we could talk with the school board and see if we could split it?
I think we should.
And
I
share
think
the
we should,
responsibility,
yes.
see if they'll cover half and we cover half?
I think that's only fair.
Yeah.
I think that's only fair. So we should pull that,
So, okay,
and when you do your,
I already
you
got
did? Oh, you're so smart. And then, let Cindy know that we're not going to, pay that, we're gonna discuss it with them.
Okay.
And who would like to do that? Emily?
Sure.
Did you hear her volunteer?
You didn't,
I
but
did too.
And can we also, while you discuss it, encourage some more communication on such things, so this
Yes.
kind of thing doesn't
Yeah,
happen?
I had, I spoke to Mike, just ran into him, I mean, it wasn't on this matter, I knew nothing of the matter, but, we promised each other that that was going to happen, it was gonna start happening, so. So, yeah,
Okay.
I think that's only fair.
so write it down before I forget, so. With school board. Legal bill. Okay, so let's see if I can do it right this time. I make a motion that we approve and pay the following warrants. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Warrant 20 SG accounts payable for $37,376.71. 14S payroll, $9,679.68. And 15S payroll, $8,223.76.
I would second that with a friendly amendment, just to include that we did take that one out to come up with the new total.
I will accept his amendment.
Okay.
Second.
All right, motion's been made to approve and pay 26 SG for $37,376.71. That is withdrawing the DRM,
Yeah.
$1,160. And 14S, $9,679.68. 15S, $8,223.76. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It's done. All right, so we'll move on to the approval of minutes. Are we set with approval of minutes yet? With all the corrections and,
Give it a shot.
okay. I know Mike C's gonna do, he's gonna try to do the corrections for the 13th one.
No, the
So
sixth.
six. He's
Sixth
doing
one?
the-
Okay. Who's gonna do the 13th one?
I only see one.
Yeah, okay, that's, all right. Did you have this? That's,
That's for the 13th.
because it
Yes,
says,
that's what I brought up.
okay, all right. All right, you do the 13th, he'll do the 6th
All
then.
right, Madam Chair,
Okay, yes, Mike.
I move, or I'd like to point out a change on the April 6th minutes, located on page 9.
I'm not gonna repeat this, so spell it out real clear, because I'm not gonna
It's
read
a
the whole
whole
thing.
page of changes that I would like to just state for the record that these changes were agreed upon by both Mary Lynn and by Nancy and the auditors. So I would just like to read these to make sure that what Katrina is portraying, both of you agree with that. On page 9, the second paragraph should now state that Newton expressed her concerns that the treasurer's office had decided to do their own bank reconciliations for the town and school checking accounts starting on February 2015. She stated she had spoken to Chris Howe about the matter and offered to continue doing the monthly reconciliations after the town auditors are out for a stipend until the town hires an administrator to take over. Newton expressed the need for a segregation of duties for the ethical and correct handling of public monies. The next paragraph should read, Newton said that it has been recommended that the town use a computer program to do the bank reconciliations, but Newton stressed that she does much more than just checking to see if checks had cleared the bank. Nimrick was contracted and quoted approximately $500 to meet and show their computer reconciling system, but there was no money in the auditor's budget to pay for them to come here, so the meeting was canceled. Newton stated that we do need to have an outside audit for the treasurer's office because there was a change in treasurers. Board members agreed that Vergobi will contact Sullivan and Powers in Montpelier to ask for a quote to perform the statutory requirements. And then the third paragraph should read, Newton expressed having problems getting records, informations, etc. from the delinquent tax collector for auditing. This has been going on since June of 2014. Chris Howe said she is an elected official, so the board can't do anything. Gassett said auditors wanted to openly report the problem on the record for transparency with the board and townspeople. Auditors further plan to make a formal complaint to state officials challenging the validity of the delinquent tax collector's re-election in March. Statutes say that if any town official refuses their records, books, informations, etc. to the auditors, they cannot seek re-election in the year ensuing. Howe also said that the tax collector has turned her books over to the outside auditing of Sullivan and Powers. Does that sum up what you guys spoke with Katrina about? Okay. So I move that we add that to the changes for the minutes of April 6th.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded that we add that he just read to the minutes of April 6th. All those in favor signify.
Oh, there was one more. I'm
Oh.
sorry.
Whoa, that was close.
And
We also just need to change the spelling of sheriff to sheriff throughout the document.
The sheriff's the sheriff.
It was SHERRIFF, and it needs to be changed to SHERIFF throughout the document. Sorry.
Okay, so, motion's been made and seconded to add all that, plus change the spelling of sheriff
to sheriff.
to sheriff. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, April 13th.
On page 2 at the very top, it needs to be changed because it's not really a sentence. And it should be changed to, where did she write it down? To change it to say, Howe read the letter written by newly resigned Select Board member Patricia O'Donnell, Patty, in its entirety. Followed by Howe thanked O'Donnell for her service to the town. I move that we amended that.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to add on page 2, Patricia O'Donnell in its entirety. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay, now,
You have to accept the minutes now?
No.
you just
Just
did,
did.
yep. All right, and now moving on to old business, I have a resignation from Jeff Dunkley. Dear Chair Christiane Howe, please consider this formal written notification that I am resigning from my position as Town of Vernon Select Board member. This is effective as of 6 p.m., April 13th, 2015. Sincerely, Jeff Dunkley. Thank you, Jeff, for your service to our town. Thank you.
Good job. He's behind.
Okay, I need a motion to accept that?
I move that we accept the resignation of Jeff Dunkley with regret and thank him for his service to the town over the years.
Second.
It's been made, the motion's been made and seconded to accept with regret the resignation of Jeff and to thank him for the many years of his service to the town. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? I'll say nay. I'm kidding. Passed. Now, appointment for select board member. We have two that have offered. Thank you, Susan Cobb and Stephen Skibniowski. Now, it was brought to my attention that perhaps maybe we would want them to speak on their own behalf, why they would want to do this, but I don't know if we should do that in public or not. But we do, according to statute and opinions, if you, Munson, would read that for us?
Right, according to Secretary of State Jim Condos, important discussion can be made in executive session. The law permits a board to discuss, quote, the appointment or employment or evaluation of a public officer or employee in executive session, 1 VSA section 313, bracket 3. Because elected and appointed officials are public officers, select board can go into executive session to consider various applicants for appointment to fill vacancies or for the appointment to town boards. Although the discussion and a straw vote may be taken in an executive session, the actual votes must be taken in open meeting so the public can see how board members have voted, and those votes must be reflected in the minutes of the meeting.
So we probably, because I did say that we would try to do executive sessions toward the end of the meeting instead of doing it when we have a full house like this. That way we don't have to move the people out. Do you both mind waiting toward the end of the meeting to do that? And so that we don't have to move and we can move on with the meeting and
Just a point of information, the reason for going into an executive session like this is what again?
so we can talk about you behind your back.
I think the reason is,
I'm kidding,
when
Steve.
I don't mind, you're welcome to do that. Nothing to hide, but I was gonna tell you that I certainly have nothing to hide and would be happy to speak in public
Okay.
session, so.
All right.
I mean, I would actually love to have them each just say
All right.
briefly why they want the job. That won't, so that everybody else,
Yeah, that's fine too.
if they're comfortable with that.
Are you
I'm
comfortable,
certainly-
Sue?
I'm certainly comfortable.
Okay. Then why don't we have Sue, you come up first, and then we'll have Steve come up? Dale?
I'm not interfering with these two candidates that are coming up respectively, but what I am thinking about is, since we have an additional person that we have to consider for election, would it not be just advice from the floor that the term would, and that would extend to our ad hoc member, to run their terms out until the special election is held?
Yeah.
I know that Mr. Munson Hicks had agreed to do 1 month, but that, really is not going to suffice.
Well, we had discussed that earlier, and I believe that we were going to, once we got to this, we were going to discuss that and change that motion to extend him a little bit longer. We kind of like having him around.
Since there's only 3 of
I
us
can
and one of
fix
you.
that.
Or your wife can.
My wife can.
Divorce.
Yeah, I have said that the 1 month was because at that time that was what it seemed like it would need, but obviously that's not going to hold.
Huh? Well, why don't you want to,
Yeah, we'll listen to the statements, we'll move on,
And then we'll go to executive
Yeah.
session, yeah.
we'll do that later, the executive session, okay? Make our things later. Hello, Susan.
Hello.
So why would you like to help us?
Well, as a town voter and living in this town for a number of years, it seems to me that this select board needed someone to fill in temporarily. And I've lived in the town a long time and I've seen a lot of the politics here in the town. And I wanted to help out mainly because I wasn't going to run for any office and I have the time available to help. I don't have any experience on the select board, so my offer was made to help you guys out.
Thank you,
Thank
and
you.
I really appreciate it. And that's it?
That's it.
Yeah, that's all we.
That's all she wrote.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
She wrote it good.
Thank you very, very much. Mr. Steve,
Yes. If you'd like, I can speak from here.
you're loud enough.
And I'm loud enough, and that way I can look at everybody else too. I'm open to your questions, or I'd be happy to make a statement.
Just thank you.
The statement would be that I've served on the Planning Commission now since 2008, and I have moved back to Vernon here in 2006. I've had some experience with planning commissions in other towns, and I understood that the select board here was looking for some assistance to get through this difficult period until new members are elected. I have no interest in, at this time, running for a permanent select board seat, but I am offering my help, my services, my awareness of the town in whatever way I could be useful. I think I've demonstrated the ability to work on committees and towards common goals and in the planning commission area, and I think I could probably bring those skills here to the select board as well. And that's my position.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank both of you.
Thank you very much, both of you. Do you want to move on and do that toward the end, or do you want to go into executive session now? It's up to you. We'll
Move on.
just move on for now?
Pass it, you know.
All right. Well, we all know that we have been putting up with these police cruisers out for bid all the time.
We should just buy more and
I think we
sell
should buy more, buy and sell, buy and sell. Well, I don't have any of the bids or the prices or anything like that, unless we have them on our desk, which, forget it, I'll never find it. And could Bobby Miller come forward? Bobby Miller has helped us and talked to a lot of the people that were interested in our cruisers. And did you get anything?
I've got a bunch of emails.
Got a bunch of emails.
I know,
Got a bunch
right?
of things here.
I knew there was a lot of emails, but that's, yeah.
More cruiser interest.
I wanted to make sure Bobby had them.
Well, I don't have them with me, but I.
No, you can take mine.
Yeah.
Mine. I think they're over there. Yep. I'm only here to listen to y'all anyway, and make jokes every now and then. What would be, yeah, you picked one right out.
Well, you get this one here from, it's from another Vermont town that is looking for both cruisers.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I think after looking, I would lean towards this one, that you just go with this, because just sitting around like they've been, it's not doing them any good. It's been going on now for long enough. And this is a fair proposal. And I think that they want them both, so they'll take them both, and you don't have
Get them out
to
of our
strip,
hands,
you don't have to strip them because they're going to a Vermont
that's right,
Police Department.
that's right. Yep.
But the Tahoe,
That's already been stripped and gone,
some
right?
of it's been stripped, but what about the lights and the radio? Shouldn't they go with it?
if it's still
Like,
there.
If it's still there, yes. I mean, how far down did it get stripped?
Well, the decals are off, the radios are out, the light bar is off.
The light bar actually could go with it, couldn't it? Where is the light bar?
I would think that it could, seeing,
I mean, is it a police department that it's going to?
Yes.
Yeah, why can't it go? And where is the light bar that was on it?
I don't know, but I can find out.
Yeah, because probably Jesse took it off, correct?
So as far as I can tell, the bid from this one person who wants the two is still more than we could get from selling them singularly
Yes.
from the other two.
Yes.
So it seems like a win-win to go with this town.
Sounds it.
Yeah, I note in this that it is not an offer, but a proposal that if we're interested, he will submit to the board, to his board. So it's not a done deal, it's not an
I
offer.
think they have gotten a grant or something to purchase.
What town is this, Weatherfield?
Brandon.
What is it?
Brandon.
Brandon. See, because I gave Bobby all mine.
I would say we follow up with Brandon and see if they've got the grant, and they still want those for that price, and
Yeah.
if it is, then we offer them to them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Agree.
Cause that's only $3,000 less than we were looking for, right?
To begin with.
Am I right? This, we wanted 18 for the Taurus, or the Interceptor, and 12 for the Tahoe, which is
Right.
31, and they're offering us 28. Yeah.
Jump at it.
Yeah.
The board's pleasure is?
Bobby, you want to negotiate that with them?
I will, yes.
Okay. We'll need a motion for him to do it. And go ahead and sell it at that time if they agree.
So I would move that we authorize Bob Miller to contact the town of Brandon up on their email in which they want to purchase both cruisers for the amount of $28,000. To see if they've gotten their approval for that, and if so, he has the authority to make that transaction.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, and I'm not repeating it. Did you get it, Carol?
You're recommending going, or authorizing Robert Miller to follow up with the town of Brandon's email for their offer of $28,000 for both cruisers,
And given him permission to go ahead and,
and giving permission to sell if
if they so want it, yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Take these with me for.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks,
Thank
Bobby.
you very, very much, Bobby, for all you've done for that. Thank you very, very much. Okay, committee appointments. Now, I think that, and this is my opinion only, so I want to hear what the rest of the board has to say, please, on this matter. But as far as liaisons go, can we wait until we have a sitting board before we make decisions about liaisons? What does the board feel?
Seems sensible.
Okay, so let's do that. We'll put that off. Also with committees, what was the pleasure of the board? Now, we could make a change, because it's always been where the committees have, people put their expressed interest to the people on the committees. And then the committees would come to the board with their recommendations. Now, we can continue with that, or we could make a change and say, they still put their, like a letter of interest through the committee, and the committee come and talk with us and go from there. I mean, ultimately, we still are the authority that puts them on that thing. So what would the board like to do? I don't think we should move too far forward with these. We don't have a, I don't know, it's up to the board. I did receive an email from Mary Lynn Sherlin and the cemetery committee. They would welcome, it was the word that they used, Barbara Mosley and Bobby Miller on the cemetery committee. if Barbara Mosley and Bobby Miller are interested. Cemetery Committee, you had put in for it. You still interested? Okay, Bobby?
Yeah.
And the plot thickens.
Now you guys are in trouble. The pound keeper is, of course, Wyndham County. There are animal control,
Sheriff.
animal control is the sheriff. Our pound keeper is Wyndham County, but, you know, I thought it was every year we had to.
You do have to sign another contract,
Yeah,
yes.
so I think that maybe we should have somebody call them, or Katrina or Carol, somebody write them a note, let them know, or maybe you could call them, Mike?
I'll call them.
Okay.
This is for Wyndham County.
Yeah, because what they do is every year they send us a letter, and then we sign it and
Yep.
read it.
But we don't have.
I mean, we don't have to
do it
sign it,
sheriff's
I mean, we
department.
don't have to agree. But that's
Yeah.
what we do every year. All right, and the Connecticut River Joint Commission,
Nope, not until it's, they have a meeting.
excuse me,
Nothing.
is Stephen Skibniowski. The Conservation Committee, I got a call from Vince Johnson. Is he here tonight? Yep, there he is. Are you still interested?
I am.
We have you penciled in there, so I'm gonna ink it in, okay? And then Senior Solution Council on Aging is Mary Lynn Schoen. Mary Lynn, would you contact them, because they keep calling me.
They've been emailing me and sending me stuff.
They send me stuff and they call me, and I told them I'm not old enough yet. I'm kidding.
I'll email her and tell her.
Thank you. I was on that before Mary Lynn, 2004, 2005, so, a long time ago. Let's see, drug and alcohol testing, that's, David Walker.
What is that? The committee?
It's not a committee,
Or,
actually, he,
Appointment title, I guess.
yeah, he does random drug testing, he gets it from his people.
Oh, for driving,
Driving,
Good,
yeah.
for drivers, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
E911 contact person is Susan Miller, our town clerk. Elderly assistant. Do you have 3 on there, Mary Lynn, if I might call upon you?
We have 3 that still are on terms.
Term, yes, because this isn't a committee. They would have to go directly to you to apply for, with an intent.
That's that email that I sent you, that we asked the people that were interested to send those letters of interest that we're gonna review at our next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Emergency Management Director. I'm there until June 30th. Farmland Committee is Arthur Miller, Skip Baldwin, Madeline Arms, Steve Hardy. Have you heard from, Carol, have you heard from Katrina? Had she heard from these people back, any of these people?
She didn't say.
She didn't say. I think that we should leave it as it is then until we hear otherwise. What do anybody think otherwise?
What else to do?
Mhm.
All set with that? Okay, fence viewers is Mike Ball
We
and
already
at
did
Royden.
that.
Excuse me?
We already did that.
Fence viewers? Oh, that's right, we did.
We did it.
Never mind. The Finance Committee / Capital Plan, we just set up with Susan Cobb, Nancy Gassa, and myself. And you had somebody,
Somebody mentioned Joyce, didn't you?
Joyce, Rita? You wanted to be on it? Both of you? Okay. Then, oh no, I'm still in the fifth wheel. Can't you find somebody else too?
Mr. Pinsky wants to be on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, then I can come off and you can have your committee of 5. Then, right?
I thought you had to get us started.
I will get you started, but I don't want to be on the
You can
committee.
be a liaison.
We're not gonna set up liaisons right now. But yes, okay. I'll get you started. All right, so we'll put the 2 of you on, okay? Oh, boy. Let's see.
So is somebody gonna contact these people?
Well, I just contacted 2 of them.
No, I mean like Linda. Linda's not here.
No, she, Nancy said that Linda had, she had spoke to you? Yep. Okay, so,
I can tell her.
so I'll just put Linda Starr down. And Rita and Joyce, okay. All right. And we already did the fire chief. The wardens stay the same as they're appointed through the state. The health officer, I've talked with Mark Snow, and Annette's gonna be back at the end of the month. He was gonna speak to her, but he is very willing and, to maybe split the
I think that's a great idea.
deputy, health officer with, Heather Frost and Annette. But he wanted to talk with Annette first, if that's acceptable with the board.
Absolutely.
And probably we'll go that route, but let's wait till Annette gets home so we can speak to her about that. So I'll let you know when he lets me know that he spoke to her and she's home.
When you talk with him, could you make sure that he understands he has to make some accounting?
Well, he doesn't, the board hasn't made that decision yet, but we can look into that,
It
yes.
always
You
used
had
to be
mentioned that
accounting.
before, Barbara, and
Yeah.
we will look into
It
that.
used to be done that way.
No, it's never been done
Oh,
that way,
yeah.
has it? Oh, wait a minute, you know what, come to think of it, when John Skibniowski,
Yeah.
Johnson Skibniowski was on,
Exactly.
yes, yep, you are correct, I stand corrected. Okay, so then, in the inspector of wood, shingles, and lumber, we've already done them. Planning commission, we've done.
Just a note on your notes there, I'm the clerk now, and Bob Spencer is the chair.
Bob Spencer is the chair,
Yes,
okay,
that's correct.
okay. And you are the clerk, very good, okay. Mark Anderson,
Well,
you're
did that
still
happen?
representative, right?
I was,
Well,
wasn't
you
the
are now, cause your
representative
name's
before.
there, you have to be, right? That's like checks, if you got checks, you must have money.
I guess so.
You're there, you must be it, right? Okay, good, we have somebody there too. Rec board, that's a board, they have terms. Rec director, we've put him in. Recycling committee, now, Mike, Bob Spencer, Heather Frost, Peggy Frost, and Cheryl Franklin. Is that all still the same? You all have
Probably.
papers to follow along, do you not?
Yes.
We'll keep it that way.
Okay. And Rescue Inc. town representative is Richard McNary. Now, I know he still wants to do that, but I don't know if Katrina has heard back from him or not as of late, so I don't know. Select Board Secretary Katrina, we've done her, correct?
We skipped the road commissioner, but we already did that.
Yep. All right, the tax committee.
Seniors.
Yeah, seniors.
Oh, seniors, Carol Shippey.
Is it
Oh, yes,
just one
she's,
person?
is she still, I think she still is the chairman.
She's president.
Nancy,
She's president.
she's president?
Oh, is that the one where my dad's vice president? Read about that in the town report.
Is Les Berg the vice president?
Really?
He resigned,
Oh, okay.
and Carol was our president, and then Cookie was, and then she came back in, to fill in
Okay.
for the this year.
All right, so tax committee.
May I speak to the tax committee?
Were we thinking of,
Sue's got her hand up. Sue, go.
yes, just a minute, so I got you. Let's see. Oh boy, what we're gonna do now, because now we got, can we leave it as the same and then add 2 select board members? And make it 7?
Tax committee.
And have, what? What's the board's pleasure? Go ahead, Sue, nobody's gonna talk here, so.
I have some issues with this tax committee. Leon's not here tonight, didn't feel well. At the last meeting, Patty O'Donnell was very clear that citizens could not be on this tax committee, which is not really true, based on the history of this committee. However, Patty O'Donnell is no longer a select board member, neither is Janet, and now you have a problem because one of your listers is
Yes.
gone. So,
That's what I just said.
yes, you don't have 7 people, but the rules here didn't necessarily state that citizens couldn't be on it. Patty just said that. And if you go back to the history of this, and I believe, Mike, you actually gave me some history on it, on the tax committee.
When it was originally incepted, it was town people, it was select board members, it was listers.
Right, so I would like to see Leon be reconsidered for that, especially since you don't have any select board members on there now, and you're down a lister. So I would like to throw that out for consideration.
Okay, Phyllis?
It was mentioned in past meetings, one in February.
I see you, Janet.
When it was first brought up that they needed to reorganize the tax committee, and they kept mentioning that the listers were on it. I've never been on a tax committee. I've been a lister, and I was part of the stabilization agreements along with the lawyers and Skip Sansucci. But to my knowledge, Bill was the only one. Carol filled in, I think, for minutes once in a while, but we had Art Miller and different residents that were on the tax committee, but it was not the listers. The listers have a big part in it anyway.
Janet?
I thought, when we were talking about it, when I was on the board, I thought we always thought about it as being a citizen committee rather than a committee of selectmen, because the select board ultimately, since it's a tax advisory committee, the select board is gonna make the decision. You know, the tax committee doesn't do that, so whether or not, and I thought that that was what Patty said a meeting or 2 ago, so I don't think we ever thought that we were on it because we were select board members.
Yes, I believe that's exactly what was said, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. David? I'm sorry.
I'm getting confused.
Okay.
So I think if I'm getting confused, maybe some other people are getting confused. Call it a stretch. What's the name, can you tell us what's the name of the committee you're talking about? What the purpose of the committee is, and who decides what the makeup is? And I'm kind of going back to a question that Emily had asked a meeting or 2 ago, and that was how do people actually get on committees and how does the whole process work? Before we start talking about who we're talking about, maybe we should talk about what we're talking about.
Okay.
So we're all clear on that.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
I'll start off by saying that it's a tax committee. It's for future agreements with Entergy. It also could be with Velco, it could be with TransCanada or Transco, whatever they call themselves now, that kind of thing. Now, the purpose and what the tax committee did prior to this, I've no idea. But I'll let Mr. Quartermarch answer that one.
Well, I was only on it briefly, and back then the plant was still operating or producing energy. And at that point, we were working with the Sansucci's firm. Yes, they're
They're consultants.
Appraisers, thank
Oh.
you, thank you, I'm
Jeez,
sorry.
I'm like grabbing at straws.
The
What's
committee,
span
I
for?
was only on it for a couple of months. Patty was on it, the listers were on it, Skip Sanzucci provided a lot of the appraisal work and things like that. And it was, the work was about coming up with, the appropriate taxes and tax stabilization agreements and things along that nature.
So to that end, if I could take a follow-up.
Okay, a very brief one.
Watching too much C-SPAN, I'm sorry. Is there any reason how come this committee, just to simplify things, can't simply consist of the elected listers and perhaps 2 members of the select board, and just be done with it, and not have this large behemoth, apparently 7 people? We're talking about a couple of groups, we're talking about people who are elected, and just let them do their job.
I think that I would kind of go along with that because of, this is kind of a sensitive matter that we're working with right now because we're working on a long-term agreement with Entergy. And it really does need to be, so, what's the pleasure of the board? I'm sorry, Munson.
Sorry, just for the purpose of.
I'll come right to you, Josh, in a minute,
Just
okay?
for the purposes of speaking, I am not particularly in favor of radically changing the nature of what the tax committee is perceived to be at this moment. I think we do need, as I mentioned before the meeting, that perhaps an addition of 2 select members to this current committee. I would hate to see the expertise of Janet and Patty disappear at this particular time when we are in the middle of these kinds of negotiations. That said, having been said, I would also like that particular committee to take into to discuss and clarify precisely what their advisory capacity is to the town and to the select board.
Thank you.
That seems to me to be the sensible transitional period, not because the board is being transitioned and our association with the various utilities that are essentially the work of the tax committee. That seems to me to make the most sense.
Any other board member before I call on Ms. Dunrow?
I concur with Munson.
Yeah. Josh?
And I'm gonna say something I probably haven't ever said at any town meeting, I agree with Mr. Hicks.
There's one.
Well, there you go. No, you got 2, you got 2.
It would be very ignorant of the board to have those particular people that I've set in those board and have the relationships with Entergy to, not have them on the tax committee.
So we've talked about liaisons.
Thank you.
Is there a way to have a liaison with this? Because I agree, I think these people have the knowledge, they have the experience, they have the rapport, the relationships to continue in their current capacity. If we have a liaison, would that mean that they're just the go-between between the select
Yes.
board and the committee? I guess that would be my preference, to have them continue to do the work if they're willing to do so, and then have a liaison to be able to communicate between the 2 instead of adding 2 board members, and then you've got a 7-member committee.
Patty, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm being spoken about, so I'm maybe to throw my 2 cents in. I think having 2 select board members is the way to go because the decision ultimately is with the select board. Now you have to remember, when we go back to when this first started, there were 2 select board members on that committee. But it always has been a citizen panel because there's a lot of work. There's a lot of research that's going to need to be done. Skip Sanzucci is awesome, but still it needs to be done on a personal level as far as our town is concerned. And I would recommend strongly, because you're the future of this town, and I keep going back to that. I know I sound like an old lady when I say that, but whatever happens to the future of this town, your generation's the one who's gonna go into the future. I would recommend strongly for you to get on that committee because you have the financial background, It'd be an awesome learning experience, and whatever we do now, it's only gonna be a 5 to 10 year contract, and Carol's not gonna be around forever, Skip Sansucci's not gonna be around forever, Janet and I aren't.
I beg your pardon.
I'm talking about the tax committee, I don't mean like we're all gonna die tomorrow, but it would be really important for somebody who's gonna go on into the future of this town to be up and aware of what's going on with this, and it's time for you to start building relationships, so I think that would be a great idea.
Thank you.
Just one thing to add to that. I agree with Patty and certainly about Emily, but I think that's something that we need to address on all committees, is to bring new young people into it, whether it means changing the nature of the number of people on a committee or whatever. But if we have any way to bring the next group of people in so that they learn the process and understand and get the history as part of their DNA essentially in the town. So that's just an addition to that statement.
I agree with the committee that's there now and 2 board members. And I would suggest, because Munson's not gonna be here, and I don't want to be, that you and Mike, if you're interested, would go on to, or, go ahead, you can say it, because I
Or
was
do
gonna
we
say
wanna
this,
wait until
or do
after
we
the
wanna wait?
elections and
Right.
figure out who's, I mean, the elections are only gonna give us a 1-year term to finish out the terms.
Right.
But.
But that also, if they run for those, collective positions, they may.
Since the select board members are going to be appointed, I see no reason not to ask Mike and Emily now.
Me too.
And then when new people come, that can be revisited without
If
any
the board
great
so
deal,
chooses.
if the
Yeah.
board so chooses.
Oh, okay.
And those other people so choose.
Yeah, I agree. So now all we need is a motion, Munson. What are you doing?
I move that we appoint Mike Quartermash and Emily Vergobi to the tax committee, along with the people who are currently on.
We'll wait for a lister to fill that position, but
Right, that
they
person
now
goes on.
still have a good group of people
To
to
work with.
work with. So.
So moved.
All right, so seconded, somebody?
Second.
To the deep
Okay,
dive.
been moved and seconded to keep Patricia O'Donnell, Janet Rasmussen, William and Carol Hammond, Mike Quartermash, and Emily Vergobi on this committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 The ayes have it. All right, Town Administrators Search Committee. We have Emily, Mike, Dale Gassett, Ellen Merkel, and Tom Garino as an advisory position, and Tim Arsenal. And we just put them there, so let's keep them. I'm happy with them. Aren't you guys? Yes?
Well, we haven't started yet, but yeah.
Okay.
So far, you've made no mistakes.
So far, they haven't made one. So town attorney is Richard Coutant. Town forest supervisory is Seth and Ian as his assistant. Town office, oh no, that's a liaison, that's me. We're not gonna do liaisons, I'm coming off that right now. Town picnic is Josh Unruh, Debbie Barrier. Is there any more? Josh, did you have anything else
No.
that had asked?
I hadn't heard from Deb at all. I'm not even sure who she is personally.
She's not here tonight either. Well, let's wait on that committee and let's wait on that one.
We have a-
So
we have a-
you still huh?
Yeah, I'm still heading it up just
Okay.
because it happens in like 2 months, so.
All right, don't you normally just go out and ask people to help you and,
Yeah, I just find a group.
Yeah,
Harass
because-
people until they come to a meeting.
yeah, I get you, with the club and the,
Yeah.
okay.
Do we have money in the budget?
Is that what you call the sickle thing and everything? No, what he does is he uses Seth, he's used the select board before, Ian, and a lot of the kids from the rec department, that kind of thing, so, yeah. What?
Tim.
Okay. So we'll leave that one, and Deborah Barrier, if she
Has expressed
listening.
interest.
If she has an interest, yeah.
Set a meeting one night.
And she can get a hold of Josh Unruh, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Or vice versa.
All right, Town Service Officer is Mary Lynn Sherlin. Tree Warden is David Walker. The Veterans Memorial Committee is vacant. Is there anybody that would be interested in doing that? Josh?
I would be interested.
Oh, thank you. That committee is very important to me, personally.
What do they do?
Well, Mary Lynn can answer that. She's been on the committee forever, but she was the only one that was for a long time. My husband was on it. He was one of the original ones. And Walt Saluzny and Mary Lynn. And they got this, and my brother, Ed Class, they got this off the ground and built. And I know one thing they were working, I'll get right with you, Phyllis. One thing they were working on was a book that was encased in acrylic, if I remember correctly, with names of the service members and stuff. Phyllis?
I don't believe it's been returned to the general. I think there's still money in the appropriations.
Yeah.
$2,200 or something. You needed to add more names or correct names or something.
Okay, thank you. David?
Yeah, there was a motion a couple of years ago that the board had made that never really got acted upon, and that was that the memorials out here are kind of behind in the names of people who served in recent activities.
Yes, and there was
A number
some,
of years behind.
there was some questions of people, questions from actual service members that names were not put on there for one reason or another, so, yeah. So that's something you could look into and.
Yeah, I would be happy to be the point of contact for those families, because obviously I don't know every person that's served in the last 15 years or however long it's been, you know.
Yes. Okay,
But I'm happy to take over that committee and
that would be great. Thank you so much. It's a very important committee to me. Mary Lynn, would you like to help get him started?
I'll get him started.
Okay. Thank you, Mary Lynn. Ware of Coal, we've already done her. WCSWD Waste District, that's you, Mike. See, your name's there. There you are again. And the alternate is vacant. Who was our alternate? Was it Bob Spencer?
Was, yeah.
Yeah, and he's not interested in it
He's
anymore?
actually running the waste district now.
Oh, he is?
So it's a little
We'll see how much
conflict of
I keep up with the
interest.
times. Okay, so that's out. Anybody interested in that? No. Who would want to? Wyndham Regional Commission is Bob Spencer, and we should have, he's off, and it's Steve Skibniowski. So Steve's name should be there,
And I'm looking for a replacement if that helps.
and you are?
I am, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Chris?
Yes,
Just another point, Chris, there's a committee that I've been serving on, which isn't on here, but I think it's important to note it. It's called the Connecticut River Stream Bank Erosion Committee. And
Oh,
it's
yes.
It's an arm of the Franklin County Council of Government Agencies.
does
And
it
what
have
they-
anything to do with the river, the joint river?
Well, it's a separate, the
Oh, it
Connecticut
is
River
separate.
Joint Commission looks at the river in segments up to the Canadian border. But this Connecticut River Stream Bank Erosion Committee is the one that tries to hold rein on the Northfield Pump Storage Project, which, as you know, we've lost in Vernon here, you know, some 1,000 feet of riverbank in some places to the ebb and tide of the pump storage project. And there's situations further south that are even worse. And so this committee is trying to ride herd on what's it, First Light, or First Light owns the station, to modify their process and also to try to stabilize the banks, because the Connecticut River is not what I'm going to call an ideal pump storage location, but it's got it anyway, so. The committee is trying to keep the stream banks from colliding or caving into the river. That's what we're doing. But I meet with them about every quarter.
Oh, wow, all right. We'll
I guess I would just mention too, in the public here, people know of places on the river where there's starting to be degradation, that it's important to let somebody know about that, and I certainly am a point of contact if you happen to be out there and see things happening.
Okay, and it's called the Connecticut Stream?
Connecticut River Stream Bank Erosion Committee.
Okay,
It's
and
a
now,
committee of
who
the-
else is on that? Is that, is
Well,
like in
there's
area towns
representatives-
all the way up
Well,
the
it's
state?
just to the dam, because the hydro station, the pump storage only affects up to the base of the Vernon Dam,
Oh,
you know, because that's
Yep.
where they're pumping water to. There is heavily participated in from people in Gill and Northfield, but Vernon, because it has less collapsing banks, it's really just one down the river that has been stabilized, hopefully. That we have only, you know, just us. New Hampshire doesn't participate at all. That's the makeup of the committee. It's mostly people from Massachusetts.
Can I just ask, is it mostly stabilization through plantings and?
Well, they do planting, they're also trying to put in different kinds of designs of dead trees, and they even put cables, and there's a whole bunch of
Variety of
processes they
ways.
tried. I think, you know, in the long run, it's a losing battle, but it's a 9-foot tidal surge on a daily basis is quite a pounding for the river, really.
Wow.
It's a big waterhead, and you don't get 9-foot tides, you know, even in some places in the ocean.
We're the Bay of
The Bay of
Fundy.
Fundy.
Well, there, I'm not.
No, but we're
not
becoming the
suggesting-
Bay of
Not
Fundy.
suggesting
Yeah.
the Bay of Fundy. No.
and, all right, to move on, Barbara Mosley has offered to participate on the scholarship committee. Do we normally appoint that? Isn't that town clerk?
Yeah, I don't think, it just is their opening, I think they're pretty well set up.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I think so.
But I thought if their time changed,
Okay,
other person.
all right, well, we have you down now, so we'll know. We're gonna come right to your house and make you go on it now. Hold you right to it. All right, so the liaisons we're going to do later when we have a sitting board. And, okay, and then now we have a treasurer's audit update.
Oh, that's me.
That's you, that's right.
Don't we have to ratify this?
Oh, do you want to?
Yeah.
We have to, okay. Go ahead.
So I move we accept all of the recommendations that we've heard tonight for the various town committees as listed in this report.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded that we ratify? What did you say?
I did say ratify, I meant to say appoint.
Yes, appoint, because I was thinking, why are we ratifying it? Appoint what we've done this evening with the committees and such. All those in favor?
Aye.
Passed. Now you have something to tell us about settling and all that.
Yes, so let me see if I can clarify the language. There was a question about whether we needed to perform an audit as a result of Sally Brasser's resignation and the change in treasurers. And gosh, let's see, would it be in the handbook?
When the treasurer goes, I don't know. You know, your statute was right on. It calls for the settling of her books.
Yeah, it doesn't, the statute, and I don't have it pulled up, I apologize, doesn't say that we're required to have an audit. It says that the treasurer is supposed to settle accounts. And there's not a ton of clarification. So I reached out to Sally first and I said, you know, did you do anything with the outside auditors? And she said, you know, that her understanding was that we were, you know, under contract because of an outside audit, and she didn't think that a whole second audit needed to be done. So I followed up with, I had sent a message to Chad Hewitt, who works for the outside auditing firm. And I was responded to by Fred Duplessis, and I'll read his email back because it's short and sweet. Chad asked me to respond to your question. Your question is more of a legal question. Well, let me read you what I asked him. I said, on February 16th, 2015, our town treasurer turned in her resignation. Since the town is already under contract with your firm, does a separate audit need to be performed as a result of change in treasurer? His response is, your question is more of a legal question, so you should confirm this with your town attorney or VLCT, but the statutes require the treasurer to settle with the auditors. No one has ever been able to tell what the definition of settle is, but it is not an audit. This has happened many, many times with our clients, and we or the local auditors have never done an audit as of the transition date. The transition will be covered in the next audit, which includes the transition date. Then going forward, I asked Chris to follow up with the town attorney as to what his feeling was, what his take was on it. And he agreed with the auditor. He said the term settle with in the statute has never been formally defined, but an audit has never been required. Since Sullivan and Powers are the auditors, whatever they think is appropriate is fine with me and should be acceptable to the town. So that's the update on the audit as a result of change in treasurer.
Say anything?
When are we gonna get the results of the last audit?
I don't know. I have talked to Cindy and she's heard nothing too, because I've received some emails on this very subject. So I thought best to investigate, but that's all I know.
But
But
the last emails I saw was they were waiting for stuff from us.
Yes, but I haven't heard about that.
Have we made a phone call?
Have I? No, I haven't.
I mean, we're doing a lot through email, but have we made any phone calls?
No. Should we? If you think so, we can.
It's a whole lot
Yep.
easier to not, when you're under pressure with somebody on the phone waiting for an answer, they're, I think, more likely to give you something.
Why
So
don't,
I'm happy to call
yeah, I was gonna say, why don't
Chad
we do
or,
that? Call this Chad fellow, because he seems to be the one that is working closely with Cindy and so I would call him. Yep, it's the board thing, yes?
Yes, but I just have a question regarding our contract with the outside auditors, because there is some confusion as to whether we have a 3-year agreement with this outside auditor, or whether we have a 1-year agreement with option for second and third. I know that they gave prices for the second and third, but what is the actual contract? It would seem to me that the sensible thing would have been to have a 1-year contract because they were new with an option for subsequent years.
Yeah, well, this is my personal take on it, as a select board when we did this, that we agreed to continue with them for 3 years. Because we sent them a letter stating the fact that we agreed to have them continue for 2014, 15, and 16, for the year ending 2014, 15, 16. I do have all that stuff, but it isn't here with me tonight, which I can probably scan and send it off to everybody if. I think we got part of it. I saw your hand up, thank you. And I know that we didn't, when we agreed to that, we did not have a budget for 2015, 2016. So what do I wanna call that, letter of,
Intent?
yes, say it again, Phyllis?
Commitment?
I think it is. I think they had a technical,
Letter of intent, an LOI?
who's talking, please?
Sorry, it's Janet in the back. I just said, is it an LOI, Chris? A letter of intent? Was
Yes,
that it?
that's Phyllis just said, yeah, thank you, Janet. Old mind thinks very slowly lately.
Or mine.
Yes, welcome to my world. We had an agreement, a contract, a technical contract and a regular contract. In the technical contract or technical proposal from this company, it had the 3 years in it. The contract that we signed only had the 1 year in it. So there's your confusion.
And that's because we can't sign a contract for money
For-
that we haven't established yet.
Right,
Which,
yeah.
So we have a one-
I believe I probably gave you all those
you
papers.
showed me a copy, but I don't think I took a copy. You showed me it to me.
Yeah, I have
but I
all
don't
that,
think
and
you
I
gave
was
me a
gonna,
copy.
matter of fact, I was gonna send it to somebody else too, and I just remembered that. Go ahead, Phyllis.
Just a few things, I'll go backward. We've asked for a letter of intent that if you did correspond with Sullivan, give us that, because we wouldn't have stayed 45 days. Because at first we were told we couldn't get paid the 45 days, but then we were told to stay on. You got a 3-year bid proposal, but I wouldn't have thought, maybe you did send a letter of intent that you wanted them for 3 years, but I would have thought you would have waited to see how pleased you were with the first year. Here it is April and we haven't gotten 13-14 year yet. I know they're extremely thorough, I'm not saying anything against them. I think they're a great company. But I don't think you didn't have the money to enter into a 14-15 agreement until March.
You are correct.
And then backing up to the audit change, treasurer change, when I was going through some auditors' filing cabinets, I did see where Martha Carroll and I did the true up or settling.
Settling over the books, that's right.
True up, for Shirley to Sally, and then we also did it for you, Chris, to Shirley.
Right.
It was the internal auditors that did that. We went,
Right.
we checked your petty cash, we looked at all the insurance policies, and Martha had it detailed all the way down what we've checked. We were on a stipend, so that's why I'm saying, we didn't do that this year in February with Sally. But then again, it's the same people too. It's Sally and Cindy and Cindy and Sally, so I don't know.
Nancy?
I was basically gonna say the same thing, that if you look at the documents, you didn't enter into any more than a 1-year contract. And I can show you the documents if you wanna read them.
No, I have them.
The contract is specifically for 13-14, and the RFP said, give us 2 more years so we can consider them if the town so chooses. It doesn't say it's automatic. So I guess I would respectfully disagree with you understanding that you currently have any contract other than 13-14. You haven't entered into anything else.
I respectfully accept your disagreement. So, it is what it is.
How long do these take?
I don't know. They have been working since.
Are you talking about a true up, or are you talking about?
No, the auditors,
Full
the actual audit. They're digging.
It can be, speaking from my corporate experience, if you will, I mean, we have auditors come in, they came in, end of February is when we had our on-site visit at my place of employment. And they spent a number of days there doing all their on-site testing. And then they go back to their offices and we're just getting our financial statements now. So this is a long process. This has been longer than normal, but with it being also their first year,
Yeah,
I mean, I
well-
would expect it to take longer, but I don't think, 2, maybe even 3 months, I don't think
Well,
that's.
they've been working at it since when,
I
November?
ask because we haven't got the
November.
results of the last one. And it seems as if in order for us to get the results for the next town report, they're gonna have to start immediately after that.
Well, they're not going to go to the treasurer and say this, and this. If they, once they're done, they're gonna come to the select board and let us know the findings or whatever. I do know that if we'd have gone with a different company that we've had before, it wouldn't have taken this long, I'm sure. But they have, if
They're new.
yeah, they're new, they gotta go through all our funds. We do have, I don't know, 27 funds. And that in itself, if they're going back, you can't just start one year and expect them to, oh, yeah, okay, pick up right here. They're gonna have to go back to get a starting point. I think, I don't know, I'm not, just my opinion.
Yeah, I'm just,
Go ahead.
I don't want
And I'll
us
come
to,
right back to
I don't want
it.
us to lose sight of what we were actually talking about, which
Right.
was not the town audit report, but a treasurer's essentially
Yes.
settlement or true-up as of the 16th
February,
of February.
yes.
And that has not been done.
Well,
And it seems,
It is being
according
done.
to,
that's what
it's being
we're
done.
assuming. It's being done during the, this audit that's.
but a true-up or a settlement is basically a snapshot of that
Right.
of the finances for that day, as opposed to a town report. And it seemed to me that both the lawyer and the accounting firm said that that's the norm, is to do that settlement of true-up.
Yep.
And so, for the protection of Sally and Cindy and so forth, I think we should be doing it in some fact. I mean, I think that just snapshot settlement is not only advisable, but it sounds like it's required.
So,
I don't know how to do it, but I'm just saying
I was
that's
just gonna
the-
ask you, what would you think? Would you think that, she's going to call them to see where they are, during this, for this audit here that they're doing? We could just add her asking them, and I'm sorry, say her, Emily, we could ask her Emily, to ask them if they would do the settling of the books or whatever, because we no longer have our inside auditors. Phyllis, let me go ahead with you now that
I think I've lost my train of thought.
I'm very sorry. I just wanted the select board to get their thoughts out first. What do you think about that?
Well, it seemed to me that a settlement or a true-up is a relatively simple, small task.
It is.
That if we wanted to simply hire our current auditors to file that report, pay them a stipend or whatever, and just get it done. Or, as opposed to going through a whole new process, and the farther away we get from that February 16th, the harder it is.
Right.
That's just my feeling that, let's get it over with.
I would kind of add, which I think was part of Phyllis's point earlier, was that I'm not entirely sure that we do need to, because Sally's still in the office. I understand she was treasurer and Cindy was assistant, and they've reversed roles, but they're both still in the office. It's not like, Sally has left completely. I don't know.
Sally has always welcomed those kinds of
Yes,
audits, though,
she
just to
has.
prove that everything was on the up and up,
Yeah.
so I would say we would move forward with one.
David?
Yeah, I think Munson said on something big here. Sally would, as she's always stated in the past, she would welcome to have something like that. The fact that she's still in the office is valid for having the information, but her legal capacity as being treasurer was relinquished, and that's what triggers the state law. It's of great value to us to have her there because she can answer any questions. It sounds like a true-up is a pretty simple thing, and I think Munson's idea makes a lot of sense, just come on a contract basis to the folks we already have in town who know the books, who know how to do it, who can just get in there and get this done, quick, fast order, get it beyond us, and keep this as a separate issue than what we're dealing with the existing.
Yeah, because
audit
it's a
problem.
really easy process. I mean,
I'm
not
assuming.
easy for me, but it was easier for it's easy for the auditors. Janet? Sorry,
But I thought as of 45 days, we don't have auditors anymore,
we don't.
so,
I'm saying simply to contract with these people who have audited buildings.
but why don't we just contract with the professional auditors who we have a contract with?
Well, that's what I'm saying,
Oh, okay.
but we're right in the middle of a debate about it right now. Because I that's what I say, that they should ask the, Chad, what his thoughts are. I mean, he seems to think that we don't need it, and because they are auditing the books that it's there, but, I mean,
They're
I
not
did,
auditing the books for February 16th.
Right, there.
Not- that
It's
would
not
be the
gonna happen
next-
until next year,
that would be
so
the next round.
They're gonna
Yep.
cover
Yep.
what we do here as
Yeah.
a second,
yeah, you're right.
second set of eyes.
There's a line in the email from the outside auditors that says, the way it's written is a little confusing. The transition will be covered in the next audit, which includes the transition date. So I don't wanna say that it sounds like he's not willing to do it, but I think because we have, not a contract for 3 years, but an understanding that we would probably continue to use the same firm. I think just reading into this email, if they're thinking if it's the same, if they're gonna be auditing fiscal year 2016, right, which includes the.
Yeah, it would be
Well,
14,
but-
15, yeah.
They're doing 13, 14.
No,
They're
no,
doing
but the
14,
transition
yeah, 13,
happened in
14.
15-16.
Right.
No, transition will happen in 14-15.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, okay, thank you. Why can't we just have calendar here?
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, I can certainly ask them if they are willing to do this true up, when I call to get an update on the entire audit. And, the time that it would take or the expense that it would incur.
Well, I think we've already got the money in the budget to just hire these guys.
Right.
Do we?
You said that the money from the auditor's line was left in there.
It is left in there, but that's not until July 1st.
That's right,
That's not there until July 1st. Josh?
I just wanted to say one quick thing. If this is gonna be covered, regardless of whether it's a year from now or 2 years from now, and Sally's still sitting in her office, why are we spending more taxpayer money, whether it be an outside audit or inside audit, when it's eventually gonna be covered anyway?
We're trying to comply with the law. The law says it has to be done, not 3 years from now.
Yeah, we do have to
No, that's
comply with the
not
law.
what
Your interpretation of the
That's
law,
what
it's
they
not the
said.
attorney's interpretation of the law.
Well, the attorney went back to the accountant, who went back to the attorney.
It's enough, thank you.
I think the question really comes down not so much to the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law. I mean, the whole purpose, I'm just grasping what it should would be, is to make sure when the books are handed from person A to person B, that it all makes sense. So I've got two thoughts on this. If we wait a year or even 6 or 7 months, it's kind of like waiting 6 or 7 months to balance your personal checking account. You really want to get it trued up to make sure everything is good so the new person isn't being handed a handicap. So if we're going to do it, it just makes sense. Let's just do it. It sounds as though this is a pretty simple process, and I just can't get my hands around the fact that if we hire a professional firm, that whether we have issues or not, the fact that they've got their hands full just getting done what we've already gotten done, when we apparently have funds, it's not gonna cost much to just contract with who we have, who knows the books, who can just get in there quick, boom, boom, get this done. And move
Well,
Oh,
on
the
to
thing
other business.
is that the money isn't there until July 1st. And if we hire this company, we're gonna hire them as of July 1st. So it would be still the same thing. However, they do, Phyllis has done it how many years in a row? Yes, for 30 years, for sure. I think we started about the same time, Phyllis, didn't we? long time ago.
So it's
Very long time ago.
So it sounds like maybe by just doing a little more research here to find out, you know, is there a timely decision here and what are the costs involved? And then at the next meeting, you'd be ready to make an action on this and keep this one solved.
You know, I mean, I don't know if there's any money left over in the auditor's account. As of right now, there is not. So that question's been answered.
Maybe you better ask Phyllis if she's willing to even consider.
Well, that,
Yeah, well, that would be nice, but we're arguing over whether we want you or not.
You didn't want her, maybe she doesn't want you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Very true. Touche. Go ahead, Susan.
Is it possible there's money in another fund somewhere to pay for this? We're not talking thousands and thousands of dollars.
No, I know that. It wouldn't take her probably a few hours in one day.
Well, I don't know
But-
how long it would take her, but.
I don't know either, but it's entirely up to the board. Whatever the board decides.
I don't know if it's mute or not, because I don't know how you true up for February 16th. You can't go back and check their cash box, because that was right the last day that taxes were due. I mean, it should have been taken care of a long time ago.
It should have been done the same day.
Yes. So, I mean, you can go back maybe and look in the cash journal to see what you took in for.
Well, can I ask why you didn't do it at that time? You were still auditors then, right?
Not really,
Well, on February 16th you were.
not really.
Not really. We were not allowed into that office as soon as the treasurers switched.
I know, but that's part of their job to turn it over to you.
When you guys took away 92% of our budget, you handcuffed us. We had to decide which things we were gonna.
I didn't, town did.
We were gonna spend our money on, and we determined they would be reconciliations and delinquent taxes. Everything else we left to the outside auditors.
And we were no longer welcome in that office.
Well, I'm not gonna get into personalities, but,
I'm just saying, that's why we didn't,
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't something that we did out of.
because, I mean, you can't just say, well, we didn't do it because you handcuffed us. Number one, I didn't handcuff you. Number two, but if that was part of what should have happened right then, it should have happened right then. I mean, I would have maybe stopped all I could have done. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't mean to hound on that. I just asked a question.
Back to Chad, when we talked to him in, February, he said, we were down here meeting with him, and he said, we've only got a few things left, and we should be wrapping up. We really thought it was gonna be in the town report. We had no reason not to believe it wasn't. And
it's a separate thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's separate. Well,
But
look at.
that's what my train of
Yeah,
thought.
no,
He had no
we're gonna look into that, so we'll get off that subject, but,
I'll find out what they consider in settling of
So-
accounts.
okay.
And reporting.
Yeah, and what they would need to be able to, I mean, it
Yeah.
might just be, bank
At least do that,
reconciliations as
then,
of
I
February
mean,
28th.
if we don't have the money until July 1st, we're not gonna do anything until then anyway. But like Phyllis said, what's the point? Should have been done then. I mean, that makes sense too.
Well, it's
But-
not just the cash, though, either.
No, I know. All right, we'll get us some answers. That's all we can do.
Okay.
Returnables?
Returnables, no, bake sales.
No, we added returnables
Oh,
to the whole business.
yes, returnables. Oh, I put it
Cans.
under new. Yours, go.
It was brought up over the weekend that,
Okay, come on. I need quiet. Thanks.
I don't have the direct email in front of me, but it was brought up over the weekend about how the Fire Association has been raising money through various endeavors of their own, and they've been handing out grants to area fire departments, which are beneficial to us in Vernon in that we use some of the equipment that they're helping to pay for. We use some of the services that they're helping to pay for, specifically dive teams, maybe radios, things like that. But they also have donated a lot of grant money to our department as well. And they're always looking for additional revenues or sources of funds to continue to provide those grants. And they mentioned the fact that we do have a returnable bottle can bin down at the town garage, which every time I go down there, it's fairly full. And they wondered if they could be the recipient of the funds that bin generates. In the past, I remember the Cub Scouts used to get some. I contacted Cindy and she said the Girl Scouts have gotten some of the funds. I think Munson brought up that maybe we could have a revolving cast of area organizations, or not area, but Vernon organizations that could capitalize on those funds. I did talk to Cindy today and she says that we basically haven't made a deposit from that since 2011. And I couldn't get a reason why, but that's kind of concerning. You know, that's just another thing that we've let kind of slide. But anyway, I know David has approached the company that picks that up and does the counting and things of that nature, and they seem agreeable to start that process rolling again, and I would like to recommend that the Fire Association be the recipient of those funds for a time being.
You making that a motion?
Sure.
What is that time being?
For how long?
About a
What do
year.
you think?
Let's say a
Easier
year.
just do fiscal,
A
yeah.
year?
Start with a year and see how it goes. My thought was that maybe
I got you, Joe.
you guys would get it for a year and then somebody else would get it for a year or something else. for a year.
I totally accept Munson's suggestion. We can take the action in a year to come back to the board, do your report, let you know what's going on. And then what I would suggest is the board then solicit other organizations, we put them in a hat and pick the next one out. And we just go round robin here for a year in a whack. By 1 year from now, we'll be able to tell that next organization, this is what you should expect. So it's not just some abstract thing, but they'll know what there is coming.
Josh, you have
I
something?
just want to throw out a suggestion. The town picnic is no longer funded, and after this year, we probably won't have enough money to do one in the following year. So whether we become the next one in line after the fire department or whatever as a town picnic committee to try to fund that particular event, that would be a good thing.
Sounds a good idea to me. I think they get it first because they came
Yeah, I
up
got
with
no
it,
problem
but
with
Yep,
yeah.
that sounds great.
I had a question, Mike, because I know I've worked with through the Cub Scouts, worked with Putney Road Redemption Center before, and when you say that there hasn't been any deposits, I'm wondering, has, the guy that owns it, I can't remember his name.
Chris.
Does he just disperse it to the organizations directly?
I spoke to Chris Parrow a few weeks ago specifically about two parts of this. One part, which I'm free advertising on BCTV, and that's that anybody who has bags of returnables can actually bring them directly to Putney Road Redemption and say, this is for Vernon Fire Association, it goes on the account. He waits typically until there's a call from town, from whichever organization, which is why a lot of times it's full, because it doesn't appear to be one right now, and he comes, picks it up, and brings it down. He indicated to me that not that long ago, the town had called for the zeroing out of the account. So there are some funds here available for us in the town. I don't know how much, but it is periodic. Likewise, there's a small amount of cash down there for the association, but we're not gonna go bug them every week for a $3 check, so, it'll build up. That's one of the keys is we can take stewardship to be watching it, and when it gets close to 2/3 full, so we can call and have it pulled out, so you don't experience having
It just sits there for a
a
year.
container that's overloaded.
Overload.
That's right, with the bees buzzing all around it.
Yeah.
For a year. Amend your motion to, for a year.
I accept that.
I second.
So motion's been made and seconded that we give a year of
Returnable.
Returnable
Returnables.
deposits.
I'm telling you, it's 8:30. Old lady. Sorry about that. To the fire department.
Fire Association.
To
Fire
associations.
Association, I forget this too. I used to be on that committee.
So is
years
there an
ago.
account already set up that he has the information and all of that?
Chris Parrow does.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to get with the treasurer for whatever's there.
For that.
Okay, all right.
Do
I'll-
we want, I just wanted to so we don't end up in the same situation with Munson, do you wanna say through the end of fiscal year 2016?
No, that's 2 years.
That's 2 years?
So June 30th, 2016.
Oh, actually,
Yeah,
yes, it
so
would
the
be.
remainder of this fiscal year
Yes.
and the whole next year.
Yes, whole next year.
So that way, and we're not saying 1 year, we're specifying the fiscal
Okay.
year,
I'll
and then
accept
that way
that as
it's,
well.
Yeah.
then we don't have to remember every year in April
Okay.
or whatever.
Did you get that amendment, Carol?
Through
Good
June
enough.
30th, 2016.
16, yes. Okay, motion's been made and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay, then, oops, on to,
Big sale.
yeah, now we have the big, excuse me?
Oh, that's you.
No, under new is my thing.
That's right.
So we'll do that after the bake sale. Okay, bake sales. Now, I had her put bake sales because the historians also do bake sales at, they don't wanna do,
Not in May.
not in May, okay. So, but Emily had asked, that, go ahead.
There's a new AAU basketball team for 5th and 6th grade boys this year. We mistakenly named them the Vernon Trailblazers, so it's not the Snowmobile Club. We'll make that very clear. That was brought up to us at the, we did a fundraiser at the outlet center and we were informed that we made a mistake. But anyway, they would like to do a bake sale fundraiser at the May 5th meeting. My son plays on that team, so I'll recuse myself from that vote.
And this is, fine by me, but I'm gonna have to, say that I think that probably Susan will have it upstairs. So where would we have the bake sale?
Right outside the door.
Excuse me?
Do it right outside the door.
Do you wanna do that?
You mean outside, or you mean
Underneath
in the
the-
lobby area?
No, it's in the lobby area, the
The
election.
voting and everything will be in the lobby
Oh, I
area,
see.
cause
So
she
right outside
doesn't,
the book deposit area and
Yeah.
it'd be under the cupola, it would still be,
It's nice weather.
May 5th, it should be fine otherwise.
Unless
Be
it's
a good day
pouring.
to have it.
It may be a good day outside.
I'll say that, yeah, we'll do it.
okay,
That's okay with us.
alright. So, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
And do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to have the, Emily's group,
The
the
Vernon
Vernon
Trailblazers.
Trailblazers,
AAU team.
not the, snowmobile people, to have a bake sale on May 5th. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain. Or recuse, is there a difference between the two?
Yes, one recusal.
Recused, okay.
Okay. Now, my thingamajiggy here, if I can find it. Because every time I get myself settled, I lose it. Yep, so, additions, there we are, okay. This is a quarterly report for, emergency management. And as I said before, it is emergency services. And, it's a report that I have to send into the state, which I sent to Steve Skib and Skibniowski and to Patty O'Donnell, thinking that, they had to do it, but anyway, I thought it was the planning. But I sent it to you because you were on the planning, sorry. Anyway, I need a signature from the chair, being that I am the chair and the EMD. I would prefer that we went with the vice chair to sign it. There's two places, one here, one in the back. And on the one on the back, if you don't mind giving me also approval, unless there's a notary public in here with their seal. I'll do my notary public thing and seal his signature in.
I move that Mike sign the appropriate documents and that you, oh, you got it here? Then you do it.
All right, I'll make a motion to allow Mike Quartermunch to sign the LEOC document, instead of Chris Howe, and then have Chris notarize Mike's signature.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
It's okay. I don't think you knew I had it.
I didn't know the fix was in.
I have to switch chairs with
No,
you.
I'm just,
Yeah,
Are you
see,
falling
you're
apart?
swinging my feet.
Oh, it's,
I can't figure out how to lower it.
it's a very small little
want to switch?
No,
Line.
next time.
Good, next time. I probably won't be here. Years ago, when we were having a 4-H organization for the town, we created a
I know
4-H club.
4-H. I
And we
was-
named
belonged to
ourselves, after much discussion, the Vernon Highlifers. And which point, someone pointed out that we had named ourselves after a beer. So names are tricky.
I can just say this. No, okay.
Yeah. 2000, okay. All right, very good, that's done. I can't even believe it's done. It took me forever. All right, so, the next thing is, do we want to go ahead and go into executive session now for the
Do you,
appointment?
well, do you want to do the public participation if there is any?
It's up to the board.
That's all.
Other people can leave if they don't
Yeah,
want to stay.
then they have to stay, okay. We're gonna go right to public participation. Remember, this is an agenda item, so if anybody has anything. Nope. So we're gonna move on to doing our executive session thing for appointment of temporary select board. So I need a motion to go in executive session, please.
Madam Chair, because we need to appoint a temporary select board member for a special election, I move that we enter executive session to discuss the temporary appointment of a select board member pursuant to Title I, Section 313A3 of the Vermont statutes.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Carol, did you get it?
No, I didn't even try. I figured he had it written down.
1 VSA, Section 313.
Last paragraph.
At 8:43, we came out. At 8:46, no action was taken. I want to say before we go on, thank you, Sue Cobb. Thank you, Stephen, for offering. I can't thank either one of you enough. It's really, really, really means a lot to me from both of you. Mike?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion that we nominate Stephen Skibniowski to fill Jeffrey Dunkley's vacated position temporarily until the next election, or next special election can be held, which will be done as soon as possible.
And to
Oh, and to extend our warmest thanks to Sue for volunteering for this position, and we're sorry you didn't do it. Yeah.
Yep, and to extend his term.
Oh, and to extend Munson's term to said time frame, the next election as soon as possible. Sorry about that, Carol.
Second, I can't, because I'm part of it.
This is all a learning curve for everybody.
I love it.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to ask Stephen Skibniowski to sit,
Appoint, do we have
to
say
appoint him as a temporary select board member until the election, and to extend Munson Hicks's appointment to said election, and to thank Susan Cobb very, very much for offering. We all appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, motion's made, seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion made, seconded. Okay. And thank you. Come on up, Steve. You're now our,
Get time, get sworn in.
oh yeah, where's my, I gotta swear you in though. Do you remember where it was?
Me and Dad, yeah.
Yeah.
No, he didn't get into politics that way. He just cut people's hair.
If you would raise your right hand,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
All right. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully execute the office of select person to the best of your judgment and abilities according to the law, so help you God?
I do.
Well, welcome aboard then. Have a
Thank
seat.
you.
And he'll need to go
Okay,
to the town.
yes, and you'll need to go tomorrow morning
Yes.
to Susan's office,
Mhm.
town clerk's office, and get an oath of office signed, please.
Yes.
Okay?
Will do.
Thank you. All right, now we'll adjourn. Oh, I'm kidding.
Oh, that was the shortest meeting.
I'm kidding. Okay, correspondence. I don't think that I had anything other than, as I had said before, Mary Lynn had asked for Barbara Mosley and Bobby Miller. They would welcome both of them, and so welcome. And you had something to do, I received with the trash bags, but we didn't even have that on there, so that's out. And you're gonna, next time?
Next meeting, yeah.
Okay. So, would you have that put on for the meeting next time? It was, the trash bags and the amounts and stuff and where we need to go from here and how it's panning out. And the only other thing that, we received was, from the Windham County Sheriff's Office. And, it's just their billing, how many arrests, how many, speeding tickets, so on and so forth, who was the arresting officer and that kind of thing. And that was that for correspondence. I haven't received anything other than that.
We're on correspondence.
Yes.
Can we put a shameless plug in for Green Up Day on May 2nd,
Please
9
do so.
a.m. at the Vernon Pool?
Say it one more time.
Green Up Day is Saturday, May 2nd at 9 a.m. at the pool.
So come out and clean up your mess you threw out the window as you went by Pond Road. No, I'm kidding.
There's plenty along my property.
Yes. Did you notice, where was that I saw that was, there was these bags, plastic bags everywhere upside the road.
It is across the street from the compost. I think it's,
Oh, yeah.
I think it's
Yes.
from, because I think there's a trash
Which is
can
very
for
good, yeah.
for you to put your nasty
Yeah.
trash bags in,
Yes,
but then as
yeah.
the wind kicks up, it blows it
Right.
across the street
Oh
and gets
my
stuck.
goodness, that's bad.
Well, was it the state came through and did their litter removal
Yeah.
last week sometime?
Sometime last week.
They missed that
Um,
section.
They did. We don't do 142 because that's a state road.
No,
so.
it's dangerous for the children anyway. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
please slow down. May 2nd, be aware.
Okay, future agenda items is the Hemlock Road on May 4th. Also, you're gonna, call Chad and report back to us. So that'll go on, audit information, I would call it, right? Yeah,
And the school board as well.
and yes, the school board, with that
On
legal
that-
bill.
on that bill.
Yeah. Do you have anything else, Munson, that you'd like to see on the?
Not as an agenda item, just what we were talking about before, about making sure that this year the town report begins as soon as possible, like July 1st, so that the various reports from the committees get done early, so we don't run into the same problem as we had last year of everything coming down at the last minute. The various reports, it seems to me, the closer they're done to the end of the year, the better they'll be anyway. I know it's the summer and people want to take vacations and stuff.
I'll call on you in a minute, okay? Let the board finish, please. Do you have anything that you might want to see on
Well,
the
I'd like to
board?
thank the board for their confidence in my temporary assignment here. I hope to do as much as I can to help out, and it's going to be an exciting new adventure for me for a short period.
Yeah.
So I'd like to thank the support of people out in the town too. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you. Mike? No? Okay. We do have one more, Carol. The sheriff's department wanted to be on the agenda for the first meeting in May. Wow, that's not bad for my memory.
Job.
That's really kind of slowing down. Yeah, that's it. Media. Mike?
I'm just wondering about the timing of the special election at this point. Is it a given that we're looking at June for sure?
I would almost assume so, and that's all I can do. I spoke to Susan, but she's busy at this point, and I'll speak to her again tomorrow. I have no idea right yet. And as Nancy said, it's 45 days, and pretty close
There's
to.
a bunch of statutes that are in play, the warning, the petition times, the ballots have to be ready 20 days before.
Yeah, absentee ballots have to be set and
You're looking at
received.
the end of June.
Yeah, probably.
And should I assume now that the lister position will also then be in that same election?
I think it should be, yes. Yep.
I guess I just wondered too, given that towns have so much trouble finding people to run or volunteer, here you had 2 vacancies in the course of a week or two, and you had several people raise their hands, willing to serve for not very long. I wonder if you could just speak to that.
I have no answer to that, Mike, because, for many years, we have had none. And I might as well say, thank you all for putting your name out there. I mean, it's amazing, and I appreciate it. I don't know why. I have no idea why. Mike, do you have an idea why people wouldn't volunteer prior to
Well,
that?
I think, I'm not sure about prior times, but I know that right now Vernon is going through a transition period, and I believe that certainly my concern is to make sure that that transition is as smooth and civil as possible. And that would be certainly my goal, and I think it may be the goal of a lot of people who, want to step up and help out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It's not often you see a situation where 2 select board members are gone, and so I'm glad that the townspeople did step forward
Yes.
to help out.
Yes, absolutely. Emily? Munson?
Nope.
On to your next question, Mike.
Always here as well. from
Okay.
comments, so she-
Okay.
No, thank you. I think I'm all set for tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it. Nancy?
Well, I was just gonna comment back when Munson was talking about the town report. You're gonna have to be thinking about who's going to do the town report. Because, that's, I think, what happened last year, is it wasn't really planned who was gonna do it. Because you have to coordinate the auditing with the town report. The town report is supposed to give the financial condition of the town to its people. So if you're
Well,
gonna have
I-
outside auditors do auditing, you have to coordinate that report with auditor reports. And somebody has to put it together that, the auditors aren't gonna put it together, the outside auditors. So somebody's gotta be designated to put it together. So you gotta be thinking about that, because I think that's what happened last year, is time went by, and nobody kind of,
Well,
Takes time,
I think that the town report, I think it looked pretty good for the time that the people had to do it. It is a very tough road, even for the auditors in past years, to get people to write their correspondence about their committees and about the things that they did, throughout that whatever year. But like Munson said this year, I think he's got it right on, that we do pick a person or persons that are gonna do it, and we start right at the beginning of July, and tell them, you got a certain time to get your thing in for last year. Because it is for the previous fiscal year that ends June 30th of this year, so.
I mean,
They have-
just,
they
just
have
to
every time.
be, just to be clear, I'm mainly talking about the essentially non-controversial issues.
Right.
Reports from the historians, reports from the.
Yes, those types of reports.
The things that can be done reasonably quickly, so the checklist can basically get started right away, rather than, oh, we forgot, and now we've got to get it done. That's basically what I'm saying is,
Patty?
we'll be
I
happy.
think if you'll ask Carol, who's been pretty much the one who's done the herding of the cats for years, I think she'll tell you that they do start early, but it's more a
Oh, yes,
fact of
definitely.
getting people to get that, even though it is a quick letter. In many cases, somebody just sits down and just writes a quick synopsis of what the past year has been for that committee or whatever. It's still nearly impossible to get that stuff in on time. Even when you start threatening, saying, if we don't have it by Tuesday, it's not going in the town report. If you don't have it by Wednesday, it's not going, I mean,
Yeah.
it just goes
No,
on
I
and on
understand.
and on. And that's really where the hangup is. It's, the budget stuff all falls in place on time. And that, it's really waiting for all of these different organizations. Carol will tell you, one year, we didn't get the budget from the school. And that actually was a separate report
Right, I
handed out
remember.
at town meeting. So it's, it's probably not a bad idea to send all the different organizations letters and say, please start thinking about it. Hopefully you'll get a couple, but it's more just getting people to bring their stuff in on time. The problem is not with the people that are putting the book together. The problem is getting that information from the people that put it together.
Exactly, what I'm hoping is that we can make it easier for the people that are putting it together by
That'd
getting
be
this
awesome.
stuff.
Would you get one of these?
But Chris, can I just make one point, is that my point is not necessarily his point or Patty's point, is that
No, I know.
statutorily, the town report is supposed to give the townspeople the financial condition of the town. And it did not do that this year, and I just wanna make it clear that if that's gonna happen, you have to coordinate with the outside auditors to get those audited documents to put in the report,
Yep,
okay? That's all I'm trying to
Yep.
make the point of.
all right. I got you, thank you. Okay, we've gone through it all.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good night, everybody.